Hey, welcome everybody. My name is Jonathan Tripp. This is another episode of Let's Livestream, and today we have a special guest, Joanne Pham, who you may or may not know, but after this episode, you are. She is the founder of PeriGirls, one of the, if not the largest online community for women, and we have a chance today to talk with her. But I need you guys' help. Let's get this going. If you guys are watching us, whether it's on Facebook in our Facebook group, Live Talk Nation, or if you're watching us on Periscope, please do me a favor, share this out. And you know what? Even better, tag somebody in the comments that you think would actually really like to talk or chat with Joanne Pham today as we do our Twitter chat. Because today we are talking about the importance of female collaboration. And I really can't wait to see what we're going to learn today. So, with having said that, I know we've got some of these things are getting ready to go on out. I want to go over and I do want to check. Do we actually have? Yep, I'm seeing people. Great. It is really great to see everybody in Periscope. I have that going on. And what about Facebook? Let's check our Facebook group. How are you guys doing today? As I get all my stuff in the right directions here so that I can actually see the feed and such like that. Really, I hope you guys are doing all right. I'm glad to see all of you guys are starting to pile in there. Make sure you really do invite everybody out. I'm just going to tell you straight out, I am not going to be able to keep everybody's name straight in the Periscope. I do my best. I really do try. And I'm going to tell you the truth. It just never even comes close to working out. So, but I will be able to see you guys and be able to catch up with your comments. It is great to see you guys. Let's do this. Have you guys ever, if you guys have never done a Twitter chat, let's go over the rules real quick. And when I say rules, it really is more of just like best practices. Because if you guys look on the show card now, the first thing you guys are going to be able to see is that, one, because this is a Twitter chat, we're going to use the hashtag LetsLivestream. And please use that for each chat. When you guys are replying back, you can use that. It's a great way to be able to see what everybody else is talking about, and it keeps you in the know of what's going on. Number two is that with every question that we ask, and by the way, even though Joanne is the guest today, honestly, most of the questions, I'd love to hear what you guys think. And you guys will see those questions as they pop up on the screen, on the Twitter chat, wherever it is. But when you guys do answer a question, just make sure you put A and then the number of the question so that we know which one you're talking about. Number three, make sure that you do tweet and watch us on the live stream. You guys can watch us in the Facebook page. You guys can also watch us on listen and be a part on the Periscope page. So, and you can join us on the Periscope over at letslivestream.live. And that's a very easy way that'll forward you right over to the Periscope where you can watch it any which way you want. And guys, the last one, and it's so explanatory, what I'm going to say it every week. You guys, I hope you learned something. I really hope you have fun, and I hope you have a chance to share this out with your own followers. So having said that, we are about a minute down, 2 minutes in, and I don't know, maybe this is a good time because we haven't done a lot of guests lately. Would you, Joanne, are you ready? Are you ready to come on? I know I get to see everything that you guys don't in the background. She's behind there. She is like a master at this. She's tweeting it out. She's on Periscope. I love it. I love to see it. Joanne, when you're ready, just let Jen know and she'll bring you on because I mean, this is a thing. There we go. How about that? Joanne, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you all out there in internet land?
I think they're tweeting up a storm already, and we have a whole bunch of people already watching us on Periscope. I really love it. I'm really kind of glad to be able to see everybody's able to join us today. So how about that? Let's see. Let me see if I can jump over to our VitMug page, that's where it's being broadcast from in Facebook. And let's see if it's able to be there. So, this is a Twitter chat. So we have already the questions out rolling. They're getting ready to. Some of them are, the next one I think it's coming out in about less than a minute.
People are saying that there's a little bit of an echo on the Periscope. I don't know if you see that.
I don't know. Maybe I can, I don't know, I'll turn a little bit of my screen down. But All right. So very good. So we got that. At least we got that going. But you know what? The Twitter chat is going to happen regardless. So let me just see if let me see if the actual question has question number one launched. Yes, it has. So Joanne, I do want to say thank you for joining us today. We had thought about different people that we'd want to that knew about live streaming, that knew about community, that knew about Twitter, and honestly, you were one of the first names that came to mind with all of your work. And I have a couple of questions to ask because I'm not personally acquainted with PeriGirls. Like I've seen you around. I haven't been involved in your community for a couple of reasons, and maybe there's a reason. But the question number one, I want to just kind of start right out there is that what does community mean to you, Joanne?
Well, to me, I don't. Oh, I'm hearing double sound. Are we good?
I think so.
Okay. Okay. I think we're good. Community to me is it's a place for connection. It's a place where people can gather, a place where people can do activities, a place where people can interact and get to grow together, get to foster relationships. That's what it means to me.
I really like that where it's a place to grow. It's not a place that you make it happen. Like I'm going to make you grow in our community because that's not how relationships, friendships, that's not when you push too hard, people tend just to leave and it becomes somewhere that people they just don't want to be anymore. So I really like that insight that it's a place to foster. And I had wanted to know because I don't really know a lot about Perry Girls, or at least that's what I'm going to tell you. How did how did they get started?
Well, I realized that there was a need for this, a place, because a lot of people didn't know how to live stream. They didn't know how to be in front of video. They didn't know the power of it. And because I was in video marketing and a little bit of internet marketing, I had a little bit of experience. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to teach these ladies how to do this so that they can get their messages out, because so many women, not even just women, just so many people have such important purposes in life, but they have no way to get it out there into the world. And I thought, oh my God, this live streaming thing, it's the perfect way because people can actually see them. They can connect with them. Totally different than Facebook, because Facebook is so, two-dimensional and you just see words and maybe some pictures. But video, you can actually see the authenticity of the person, the passion in their eyes, the happiness that things come to them, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a totally different world. So I thought, let's teach women how to do this and let's create a safe space so they can do it in their own time, with us having our arms around them so they felt good about it and they weren't afraid and they didn't feel like people were judging them. And I think that's a big difference.
So that is a really that is a very personal touch on something that you knew. I think right then and there, it wasn't just business. It wasn't just like one niche. It was talking about. I mean, that's really hitting to the heart of what community is. And so when you say this is how you got started, I don't want to quite ask you when, but was it just you that started Perry Girls, or was there a team, or was there a group of people that were already interested, or how did that work?
Well, it's really, really funny. I was actually just live streaming and it was just kind of like a mastermind. I'm like just kind of talking about things. And then people started saying, hey, that's a great idea. And so we would just talk about it and go back and forth with just the people that were on the live stream, as we are like right now. And when you put something out into the universe and somebody else sees it, they can add their 2 cents, and then that creates some kind of movement in somebody else's mind, and then things just start happening together. I guess I could be the lightning rod for it, but it wasn't just me. It was me putting it out there, but then me gathering a bunch of like minds that wanted to partake into it and to make it happen, and we
Sure.
created it together.
So when you started, about how big of a group was this? I mean, was this really like you and like about 3 people or
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
And the more that we broadcast and the more that we talked about it, more and more people found out about it and wanted to be part of it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I love that. It kind of reminds me of when Periscope first started. You know, everybody had it was everybody had that equal footing, really. Like back then when Periscope just started, it was everybody could go on and it really felt like a free for all. And you could make some really great connections early on. We'll kind of get into maybe some of what you think about Periscope now, but we'll get into that a little bit. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anybody's tweets that I was seeing. I see Sabrina Cadini. As do you know that name, Joanne?
She's kind of, no, I'm kidding. She's awesome. Oh my God. Sabrina is amazing. And she's like a heavy hitter out there. And a lot of people don't realize it and they don't know her yet. But if you guys can see her tweets, you need to follow her. I'm not just because of who she is and what she does. It's how she does it. She is a person that embraces community. She wants to make sure it's not about the Sabrina show. It's not about the Joanne show. It is about all of us and how we can all help each other further our own passions. And it's not about pitching. That's another thing that a lot of people don't get on Periscope and on Twitter and online. They think it's all about them, and it's not. And when you can get that, you get the benefit when you put somebody else up on that pedestal, when you shine that light on somebody else, it's a whole new world. And people need to understand that.
You're so right. I had the real privilege of collaborating with Sabrina on the Summit Live event this past year, and that was really my first. I had seen her, and we've seen it, on lives, Let's Livestream Twitter chat and things like this and around. But I had a lot more hands-on when we were doing the event, and it was really great. And she answered this question. I want to highlight what she said. She answered question number 1. She said, community in live streaming is everything. What Joanne did was fantastic for women, a safe and supportive place. And I can't think of a better endorsement than what Sabrina just said. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Actually, Sabrina, she's a huge part of PeriGirls and how PeriGirls is growing. She did a fabulous job at Summit Live, as you know. And she's integral on how the success of that event went.
No, that is awesome. I'm actually really excited to see that. So let's see here. Question number two. I think question number 2 just launched. And so I'll just read it out so that everybody, because not everybody is able to watch us. I don't know if you know this, but some people actually, they can't participate in the Twitter chat. So they actually listen to this almost like it's a radio or a podcast. So question number 2 is, how has the PeriGirls community impacted your life? And Joanne, I know because it's, you're a center point for it, but would you share 2 aspects? Would you share how has PeriGirls really actually impacted your life? And I'm going to assume it's for the better.
It's totally been for the better. Now, I have met so many amazing people, not just women, just people, because of creating a community. And people understand that amazing minds get together, and people actually that haven't even stepped into their power, that have no idea what's inside of themselves, when they get involved with the community, whether it's PeriGirls or PeriDudes or whatever community you decide to join, it brings out something inside of them because they feel that strength. They start learning, they start understanding the power of collaboration and what it can do for numbers and strength, and just bringing about a more positive message rather than, I know a lot of groups are just like complaining and hate and things like that, where communities like PeriGirls, PeriDudes, where they bring out people that are talking about positivity and what they can do to help and what they can do to create the atmosphere that they want to see. totally different, totally different than the other places that I know that a lot of us have been in, a lot of Facebook groups that we have been on, a lot of Facebook friends of ours we've seen where you just want to just unfollow them. That's not the scene that we want to create for Perry Girls. We want it always to be positive and uplifting and supportive.
I I wonder if when we're putting together an online community like this, that, you know, if it's not one of the preeminent parts, if it's not one of the most important things that you are making it a priority in your group to be positive. And I know, and believe me, I did a little bit of Facebook and Twitter, you know, research. I know a good number of people that are in there. And so when we say positive, we don't mean just foolishly optimistic. Because it's not everything is great and everything is easy and everything is wonderful. That's not what you mean when you say optimistic, or that's not what you mean when you mean like that safe place. That I think in again, it's like one of those things when you talk with Sabrina, and I've talked with a number of other people and are friends with them that are in the group. It's really a place that you can be positive and you can focus on the positive in the midst of some of the struggles of life, whether it's a business or your personal life. And I really like that about your group, that you are actually really trying to talk about real life and not just in a silly way.
Yeah, a lot of times people aren't in the right mindset, unfortunately, because it depends on, a person's path in life and whatever. But I find that when you put people together that are on that path, that they can go so many different places and they just kind of need the reminders. Sometimes people are just so used to being like, oh, you can't do that, or why would you want to do that? But when they're surrounded with people that are like, what can we do to achieve that? How can we do this? Instead of like, oh, no, you can't do that. Instead of being slapped down, we lift up and say, what can we do to help you? What can we do to get to this place that you want to get to? How can we best achieve success together? Does that make sense?
No, it really does, because oftentimes people, when they're struggling to be positive, it's oftentimes because they haven't surrounded themselves with, not, I don't want to say even like-minded people, but people that are able to help bring them up. And this really leads me, and you know, I told you this is one of the other things that I had really wanted to ask you and get your, I want to get your personal perspective on it. And this really kind of, this is the, you know, this is the question that's the show's name after is. So having said all of that about having that positive, and you know that it is an impactful community, what is the importance of women collaboration? What is the significance of that to you?
Well, growing up, and I know a lot of women experience this, everyone's always tearing each other down, or everyone's always talking about each other behind each other's back. And people can't feel safe and people can't feel strong with that kind of environment. Now, when we do the opposite, when we show women their worth, when we show women that we are there for them and not going to stab them in the back, and we want to help, a power within each person gets elevated, and then they become unstoppable. And that's the environment we want to create. We don't want people feeling that they've got to keep looking back to see if somebody is going to tear them down. We
Mhm.
want women to feel so strong because they know that they have all these people that are behind them, rallying behind them, not talking about them,
Mhm.
but saying, you can do this, you can do this. It really, really unleashes this power inside you that you can do anything, and that gets things done.
Perfect. No, I love that answer. And I'm just going to give you the heads up. Question 3 already came out,
Oh,
so I'm just going to give you a chance to answer question number 3. But no, but really, like that, creating that, and we talked about that a little bit. Creating that safe space, creating that place where people can be and that they actually want to be. Just because you have a safe space, or in a secure community, sometimes, you know, that sounds odd the way we talk about it, but when you have a community that is a secure place that people can go, it doesn't always mean that people will go there, that they'll actually bother to engage, that they'll take the time to do it. And I think when we realize that it's not just about how we make people feel secure, but it's sometimes it's the off things, it's the funny things, it's the things that make you smile. Somebody posts a picture, or that they share that funny quote. So this is question number 3, which is, what was the most fun moment about being a part of Perry Girls? What's one of those, like, that was so much fun, or that was so funny to see that? What was one of those for you?
I have to say it's actually the live events that we go to. So there's so many different live streaming events, whether it's a meetup or Periscope Summit, or now it's called Summit Live, to bring those online relationships to real life. I guess they call it IRL. To hug somebody, to laugh, to see their eyes like in person, it's a whole different ball of wax. It's so amazing and it's so heartwarming and it's so much fun. And to take pictures and selfies and to live stream together in person, it's totally it's uplifting. And I always tell people, if you can get to a live event, do it, because it just brings it to another level.
Nice. And that is very true. I've heard that time and time again, is that if you can go to a live event, do it. If you can manage, then make it happen, because the connections sometimes, and very oftentimes, impact you for life. And I don't know, sometimes there is something different when you're just in person, and you're able to do something, or somebody says something funny that maybe that kind of catches you just the right way, and just the right time, at just the right place. It's hilarious, and it sticks with you. That's the kind of stuff that we see. And by the way, guys, I want to make sure that everybody here, that as you're if you're in the Twitter chat, if you're watching us on Periscope, or wherever, if you guys are following us, make sure you do use the hashtag LetsLivestream, so that I can retweet you, and so that we can find you and continue the conversation, not only just in the Periscope side, but also in the Twitter side. So I want to just encourage you guys for that. So I know that we're on question number 3. What was that fun moment? And I can't wait. And I want to encourage everybody that's listening. If you guys are listening, would you share in Twitter what one of your most favorite or fun moments is being a part of Perry Girls? Would you share us with that? That would be, whether it's a picture or whatever. That would be really great, I think, for the community at large to be able to see that. I think that's really important.
You know what else is really important, Jonathan, is that
Mhm.
when other people in the community, they see either the live streams or the pictures, it really just brings out so much. It brings out that heartwarming community feeling as well, because it's so great to see the smiles, the laughter, and when you know other people and when you see them getting together, it's kind of like a family reunion. You just love to go back and to look at these things.
I love that, um, because that is the basis of what we do when we're talking about making memories together, and such like that. That's how you do that. By actually doing things, not just talking about doing things. And I wanted just a quick, before question number 4 comes out, Joanne. I also wanted to ask you, Joanne, is that, when for you was that aha moment with the Perry Girls, where you realized it wasn't just like a cute name. It wasn't just like another good idea. And when we have those good ideas, because we fill up pages with them on, oh, this would be a great idea, this would be good. When did you realize that Perry Girls was more than just a good idea?
Well, it's actually when I started watching more and more Periscopes, because as the group grew, I got to get notified on whenever they went live, and to see the looks in their faces, their testimonials when they talked about the Perry Girls, when they shared about how it opened up a whole new place for people to connect, because they couldn't find their tribe. They couldn't find a place where they could consider home, even in their own cities and communities and families. They're reaching, when I say they, I'm talking about the ladies and the Perry Girls. They're meeting women that really truly care about them, and not just it's like it's like a barbecue where you just go and then you go home and you don't see them again. But with the PeriGirls, we have activities and threads that people can go to every single day, 24/7, so that they have a place to call their home, and they have a place to connect and to talk and to engage and to share their lives, to share their businesses, to share what's going on with them. And to see them to see their eyes and to hear them talk and to hear their experiences and to watch them share, it's it's really it's really deep. It
Mhm.
makes me just so proud to be a part of this. And like I said, it's not the Joanne show. It's the creation
Mhm.
of a space where we can all like be together. And we have
Right.
a place where it's not just Periscope and it's not just about business. Like a lot of people are like, well, I don't have a business. It's real life. It's,
Mhm.
things that happen in real life. We have births, we have deaths, we have, firings and layoffs, things that happen in real life that people can share, and we can help rally around them and support them and enjoy those good times as well as the bad times together.
Mhm. That's a really that's that conviction moment when you realize that it's bigger than just yourself. And I love to hear I love to hear that answer from you. That moment when you realize that it's more. It's more than just a good idea. It's more than just an easy hashtag to use or something. Where it really does affect people, and because people actually live in the real world. But and then I want to ask this question. Question number 4 actually comes right up, and you led into it beautifully. It's almost like you knew that the question was happening. But I'm asking is that how does live streaming make a community better? And I really can't think of another community that really so completely and fully embraces live streaming. Just like like PeriGirls does.
Well, the live streaming part of it about it is that people can actually see a person in more than that two-dimensional Facebook. Here's a picture, here's some words. People can see you laugh. People can see your mannerisms. People can see how authentic you are. And conversely, they can see how fake you are if you are a fake person. But with the people that are in the PeriGirls, we are so transparent. We cry on Periscope. We laugh on Periscope. You can really, really, and I always say it because we can really, really connect, because you can't hide who you are on a
Mhm.
platform like this.
Yeah.
Unless you're a great actor, and I mean, you got to be like a super great actor to really fool people. But if you're Periscope is a place where you can be you.
Hmm.
And we always tell people, be you, because you do the best you that you can. And the people that really resonate with you will stick with you, and they'll follow you, and they'll keep being consistent and hanging out with you. The people that don't resonate with you, they'll fall away, and that's okay,
Hmm.
because you don't want a bunch of people that don't really care about you watching you.
Right. It seems that, and I've heard this from more than one source, that it's not that live streaming is a substitute for it. Just in really in tight knit groups, in communities, live streaming just simply it breaks down the barriers. Whether it's geography, or say you miss somebody by 5 minutes, you can still go back and you can catch what they were saying, and then you can just quick respond or reply, or go support them. However, maybe they're getting ready for the next thing, or they're going to show up somewhere. Like when I see how does live streaming make a community better, I see it as it breaks down those barriers that was previously keeping them apart, whether it's geography, a time zone, just never being in the wrong place at the wrong time and just missing each other. I think live stream really helps people connect in real life, and I love that. And I'm really anxious to see how that's going to continue to grow as the live streaming, that's able to grow from there.
Yeah, you hit it
Um,
on the head. You hit it
mhm,
on the head, especially with the time zones and not
mhm.
being there in a different I mean, where else can we meet people in a totally different country now? We have so many different community members that are in Australia or the UK or Nigeria, and we would never have that access to
Mhm.
these people and their minds and their experiences without the live streaming.
Yeah. It really is, because it is that connector point. And that is something that I think that a lot of people strive for. That's the ideal, but I really want to say I think you guys have really executed that very well. And I don't, it kind of sounds sterile, but I mean, when we talk about taking ideas and actually putting them in, into action, that's exactly, I think that's what we see in the very tangible terms of what Perry Girls has become now. I just want to take a quick moment and just say to everybody that is watching us, wherever you're watching us, that guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're actually only halfway through, and we have 4 more questions for Joanne. I know she knows what they are, but I have a feeling that this is where the meat is. Like before, it was kind of like getting to know her and a little bit of how she started. But if you really wanted to get to know Joanne a little bit better, get to know maybe live yet. But Joanne, I did want to ask you some of these kind of questions are really just more of like just get a little bit more insightful. And I want to ask, why should someone be on Periscope to build a community? Why do you think why do you think that's the case?
Well, live streaming is so huge because of the discoverability. I mean, that's what you want, because on Facebook or Instagram, it's so hard to get found. So with Periscope, there's the map view, there's a list view, there's a search feature because people can search keywords or search hashtags. People can share you out, with their own followers, or they can tweet it to their own followers, or they can share it on Facebook. There are so many different avenues that you can get found, so much more than other platforms. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that is I think that it's become the go-to. It's become the standard. Whereas, when it first came out, and not that it doesn't mean that, I mean, there were live streaming platforms before. I mean, we all know it, but there's something happened when Periscope came out that I think it changed the way that we could rely on to communicate with each other. And I know Periscope is a one to many, but I'm telling you, when you broadcast out from one to many, the many get it. They see it and they respond. And if you're not on your game and just kind of, once you're done, just kind of walk away, I think you miss a lot of the magic. That feedback, that what I said inspired, or it caused you to maybe think about something, or it gave you said, oh, you know what? You're absolutely right. Joanne's absolutely right. I need to do this in my life. I need to change this about myself, because I'm holding myself back, or whatever the case is. And there's tons of those examples. I mean, you guys have been doing what for a year and a half, 2 years almost?
Yeah, it's 2 years now, 2 years. But then you pointed out something else that I totally forgot about. It's the engagement,
Hmm.
the interaction. That is so key that you can't really get, and it's real time, so that you can actually spawn off of each other. Like they'll bring up something, then you're like, oh yeah. And then you put it out into the universe. And like you said, you get to the masses. instead of having these one-on-one conversations, you can do it once and then reach thousands of people. And I know
Right.
a lot of people are like, thousands? Yeah. Periscope is huge. It's
Yeah,
huge.
the reach is huge in potential. You know, sometimes we've talked about this, and I don't necessarily mean it like in a really strategy sort of way, but why would we pick Periscope over, say, like YouTube or Twitch? Or I mean, why? What did where did you guys get in deciding it's like Periscope is the place to be?
Well, for us, I have to say, it's just Periscope has just a totally different community than the YouTube community. The YouTube community, they're just used to just sitting there and staring at you.
Hmm.
They don't really engage. They don't really ask questions. They're part of the conversation. Periscope, people love to talk. People love to hang out. They love to share. They love to tap on the screen and create all this great energy with the hearts. Totally different than
Hmm.
any other thing. And it's just, it's its own little beast, should I say.
It is very true. That was one of the big differences, like you were bringing up just right off the bat from YouTube, and we'll kind of go back to when it first started, right? You know, when Periscope was first coming out, we would watch on our mobiles. You know, that was really the advent of it. But when it came to Periscope versus any other platform that was really out there, you're right. It was very tactile. It felt like because I could bring that with me. I didn't have to just sit and watch it on my screen. I could bring it with me. There was something where it's like I felt like I was bringing the you know the speaker or whatever whoever the broadcaster. I was bringing them along with me, and that's big. I think people totally underestimate that of how important that was when you touch the screen and then you can flip up and you can follow them or you can tweet them and they or message them and they write you back. That's amazing. It still is amazing because you're dealing with humans, but that's still amazing in terms of technology. So
Yeah, and also, there aren't any like these pre-roll ads as of yet that you
mhm.
had to like sit through and hit, watch some ad and then hit skip ad. It was right then, right there. You could go, you could swipe to the next person if you wanted to see something else. You could go look on a map and find somebody right then and there. If there was some kind of news event happening, you could get there before the news got there. You can't do that on YouTube. You can't do that on Twitch or any of the other things. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's and you guys have been going pretty strong and pretty hard. How big you I know you guys have a Facebook group and that's just the community place. Tell me a little bit about that. How long have you been running that Facebook group and things like that?
It's been about 2 years, and I have to give a big, huge shout out to I have a leadership team that helped me run this amazing group of 8 women that they do all this voluntarily, and they find such they're so passionate about helping women. They're so passionate about supporting other ladies. They want to make sure that there's a connection point for people that are basically homeless on the internet, that they're looking for a place to land, they're looking for a place to grow. And these ladies, hi ladies out there, I just want to thank you, because without you, this would never have happened. And like I said in the past, people are like, "Oh yeah, Joanna, you did this, you did this." No, it's the team that I have alongside with me. It's the collaboration. It's the mindsets. They're a strength for me. And with any community, you need to have a great team to build things with you. You can't do it. They always say it's lonely at the top. You know what I mean? But you just
Right.
don't want to be there by yourself at the top. You need to have a strong, amazing team to do things with.
I absolutely 100% endorse. I mean, it's that is so true, and I'm glad to see that you've been thinking that way and doing that for so long. And I think it shows because of the way Perry Girls has stuck around. It wasn't just a one-off. It wasn't just like, well, it was a good idea for a couple months and then just people stopped engaging. But you've really grown it. You've really engaged with it as a whole, as a community, not just well, this is just I like these small, really small group of people, and those are the only people. You really do a good job of reaching. And what is it now? 10,000? I know you're over 10,000, but I mean that is significant. That's a significant number that you guys started with a Periscope account.
right? It's amazing. But it shows that people need this.
Mhm.
People want a place to go and to talk
That
about things that they like to talk about, which is
Mhm.
Periscope, because there's just, it's so few and far between.
Mhm.
And the thing about the Perry Girls is that we are so consistent. We are there. We have events weekly. And you know that if you want to be part of something, that it'll be there. A lot of these other groups, they're very fly by night. They're like, oh, well, it's not working. I'm out.
Yeah.
Just like people in life, right?
Mhm.
But we want to just make sure that everybody knows that we will always have a place for you, a place to come hang out, a place to talk, a place to learn, a place to get shared out,
Mhm.
a place that people will love you and support you and consistently, not like, oh, are they there? Yeah, we're here. We're here.
No, that's very true. In because I you say you've had those leadership circles, and I imagine people some people come and go because as the group grows, so do they, and so they may have some interest in things like this, and they may move on in their life, and that's fine and to be expected. Um, but one of the things that I want to ask you really specifically because of the longevity that you've been on Periscope. And I was trying to bring it up while we were chatting here, but your account, the Perry Girls account, I know is as an account, it's fairly kind of new, right? The actual Periscope, or what did it start out as your own personal account? How did that work for you?
No, I started with my own personal account and then we decided, hey, we should start doing stuff from the Perry Girls account
Mhm.
so that it could have its own identity and that the people that are interested in our vision can take part of it. And then we can in turn share those people out. So whenever they participate in one of our activities, we can leverage that audience. So all the people that are interested in the same things that we're interested in
Mhm.
will get notifications on when something of value is on, and that's how we started to grow
Gotcha.
the account.
Gotcha. And I'm seeing a couple of great tweets. I see Doug Cohen's on, Sabrina. I see her, Michelle. That's at DivaTube, and so I love seeing a lot of your guys' comments and things like that as you guys are engaging and things like. And we, by the way, we do have question number 6 up, and I'm just gonna I'll just ask the question. So when did you, yeah, well, we kind of talked about, but when did you start using Periscope? And because you've been on for a while for it, uh, they've gone through some pretty significant changes from when they started. Do you think that Periscope as a whole, do you think it's changed for the better over the last couple of years?
Oh, definitely. So I started my Periscope account in, I think it was April of 2015, just about a month after it's first started. And I've seen huge changes. And what's really, really great about Periscope is they actually listen to what we need as a community. And I really, really like that. It's like you don't see what's his name, Zuckerberg going, okay, what do you need here in Facebook? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But the Periscope community, their community manager, their team is always looking for suggestions and what they can do to help. Now they just started with the monetization with the super
Hmm.
hearts, and that's one huge thing that everybody was like, we need to monetize, we need to monetize. Well, they finally got it off the ground, and now it's working. So I've seen it change dramatically, and it's for the better.
That's awesome. I love that, as that you guys have been able to kind of change and grow with with the changes in the platform. And I know some people are saying, look, I'm not going to use the monetization. You don't have to. It was them responding to a request from I think a significant number of users, that they're saying, look, if we could just have this one aspect in it, because we're making content. They want to make content, but they also need to be able to make it worth their time. I mean, why should they make it on Periscope when they can make the same content if and put it on YouTube? Why, so creating that incentive on the Periscope platform only makes sense. And you guys have a lot of people that are involved in sharing. and I wanted to make sure, see if I was missing anybody's comments, because I was honestly, like, I was watching and listening to what you were saying. I was missing everybody's comments in the Periscope, and we are live also in the Facebook. And we have quite a few number of people that are watching us between the two. So, um, welcome everybody. If you guys are just kind of tuning in now, you can watch this on a replay. You can actually go back to the beginning, and we'll actually going to be, just so you know, I'm going to be cutting this up, some of the video and some of the answers. I'll be cutting this up and putting it out. Just why not? We like to make content. We like to make good content, and I really appreciate you, Joanne, for being able to be here and taking time. So, I know we finished up 6 questions. And if you guys haven't already, and this is kind of a little bit of my commercial for them, and I'm going to give you, Joanne, a little bit of time at the end just to share out and promote out. But if you guys have not already figured this out, follow Joanne. You can follow her on Twitter over at Go Rice Girl. You can connect with PeriGirls and PeriGirls TV that's on Periscope. And it's the PeriGirls and PeriGirls TV on Twitter. And so, but honestly, the easiest way, just put the search bar in. I guarantee you can't go wrong. You'll know it as soon as you see it. At least that's how I did it. I just searched for it on Twitter, and as soon as I saw it, I was able to, this is so easy. It was so great to be able to connect. And then lastly, if you guys wanted to go over to over to perigirls.com, that will actually bring you right over to their group. And it's a great way just to hop right in and then connect with everybody. And so, Joanne, I think I did a good job. I think I got everybody in there. I think I did.
You did, but a huge thing that I wanted to point out is that it's totally free. And like, where can you find that? You can't find free because everybody always wants a little piece, right? But we are a free community, and we encourage you to come and check us out. It doesn't cost you anything. We're so not pitchy too, which is a huge difference from a lot of Facebook groups, because you've been in Facebook groups where all they're doing is throwing their business down your throat, and there's spam left and right, and you're just like, why am I in this? We are very value driven. We want you to learn. We want you to get supported. We want people to see you. That is our vision, and that is our goal, and we do it because we love it. I know it's weird. It's weird.
And that's probably the number one reason I think that people stick around. If you bring the value that they're looking for, they're going to stick around, and they're going to be a part of it and continue to support it in the long run. And you mentioned this earlier in the show. You've mentioned this before, that that you're providing content, you're making content, you're making a place that people, a secure place that you can go and you can grow in that kind of a community. But I'm going to ask the question, and this is the question that people don't like to ask, because it's a little, but I'm going to ask it, Joanne, because you've been in it long enough in community growth. But really, honestly, what's some of the biggest, if not your biggest, struggle with growing the PeriGirls, with growing your community here? What's that biggest struggle for you?
Our biggest struggle is dealing with other people's limitations, meaning Facebook, because we are a Facebook group. Facebook does not like to notify people for some reason. I don't know. It's because we're not paying to notify people, but we're a group. How do we pay? We can't. So it doesn't notify the members of our community that 1, there's a post, 2, there's an event, 3, that there's something that they can participate in. And that makes me want to pull my hair out sometimes. So we think, okay, instead of being negative, what can we do? Well, how can we get around this? So what we have to do is we actually have to start tagging people and getting little pods of people together, because you can't fight Facebook. They've got their infrastructure, and we got to just play with the cards that we've got. But yeah.
I think you and I both know. I mean, I run Live Talk Nation. We've been doing this now for about a year or so, maybe a little over a year. And I've always liked that it was a really tight knit group, but there was always the problem of, look, when we would go live or when we'd share content, not everybody would see it. I mean, it's not that they just chose, there's like, I'm not really interested in that. They're like, John, I had no idea. And so I completely understand what you're talking about, where it's like, oh, you missed the show? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did everything I could. I shared it, and I even tried to tag people. We do our best, and the community is going to share it. They'll do their best. And I guess what did you say? You said week in and week out providing content, and they come back. I think that's almost exactly what you said.
Yeah, and that's what the only thing you could do is just remain consistent, because a lot of the, the ne'er-do-wells, they just come and then they go. And then you're looking for them. You can't find them because they don't do it anymore. A lot of big people too that were on Periscope, they're no longer there. So, and it's a shame because they really had great content. For whatever reason, they decided to leave. But that's what we want to do, is just have a space where you can actually participate and do something for your own, whatever your own needs are. Because some people, they want to share their business, or they want to share their passions, their purposes, whatever it is.
They're sharing their real life. And we kind of talked about that before, where it's, hey, I mean, like you said, it's not always about business marketing and things like this, but sometimes it is. And being able to a place that they know that they can connect, and that they're actually getting something real. It's not just a fly by night. It's not something you just kind of, is it really, like to use the word, is it a little sketchy? You're not quite sure when you click on that link, are you actually going to go over to the PeriGirls? I don't really know. By the way, I did try the link out just because I'm just so jaded with how many links I've clicked in my lifetime, but I always check the links out. But you know what? I mean, isn't that the case? People put the links out and they're like, I don't really know if I'm going to click on that, because do I really trust the name?
Right.
That it takes time to develop that. It takes time to develop that trust. I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
It's so true. I'm actually trying to also keep up to date with see what you guys are what everybody's tweeting out. And so we can actually kind of just head right into this last question, because I think this last question, this could be like this is that secret question. I want to know, you lay it all out, and this is for everybody. If you stayed and watched this long, you deserve this. Okay. But I wanted to ask, because the question hasn't actually come out, but we're just going to talk about it now. If you were to start all over again, if you don't, there's no PeriGirls, but you had to start all over again with you and like those 2 or 3 people, how would you build your community?
I thought about this, and I hope that y'all that are listening keep this in the back of your mind, because it's one of the things that I wish I had done, and that it was to build out a real live website, not a link that fed to our Facebook group, but a real live website with a real live members area where we could get their email addresses so that we could communicate better, so that we wouldn't have to depend on Facebook, because that's the problem about depending on another platform. If that platform decides they don't like your group and you're gone, you just lost 10,000 of your people. And it will be very difficult to build your way back. And 2, if Facebook decides to go away, what happens, like, somebody else comes up with something bigger and better, then you're in big trouble. So the big, huge thing is to create your own member site and to have your own email list, so that if something should happen, that you can get back to them and to keep that community intact.
That really, I've heard that from a lot of people, and I absolutely think that's super huge. If you were to start it, just start it right. Start it right in it's not that the membership is more important than the idea, because you have to have a really great idea. And I don't think you lack for great ideas. I think sometimes when we are trying to get going, we're like, well, I don't really know if I really should do all of that stuff. And, an email list, check the domain, right? Do you actually have the domain? I know you guys do, but these kinds of things that we're thinking about, and then putting it together in a place that people are actually able to get to. It's so amazing. Well, hey, if you want to go visit and go learn more about, go over to perigirls.com. It's so easy when you do it like that, and it just puts them right in. But that's really interesting. That's what you would if you were to start all over, that's what you would start with. I love asking that question, because you never really know what you're going to get.
Yeah, unfortunately, it grew too fast, and it was just like, oh my God, and it was just too late. So, but
So my follow-up question for that, and this really is more for you in I do think that people are kind of thinking, what's next though? What's the next milestone? What's the next event? What is next for PeriGirls?
I'm thinking, oh, we're going to do some kind of larger event, maybe a cruise, maybe a summit, some kind of place where there's an educational component with a meetup involved. We haven't quite decided. We've been rolling around with these ideas, but you know, with real life, things happen. So those are what we have in mind.
That's kind of cool because you guys already do live events. You guys already get together, and I mean, I heard I didn't personally go, but I heard that Summit Live was actually really great for you guys. Was that
Yeah.
a fun place? Was that a fun event this year?
It was crazy, awesome fun because our event happened to be just right across the street from Summit Live, and people needed a place to connect because there was no activity or no place, no meetup or anything. So we were the place. It was awesome. We had Archon mounts there. We had the Lumi case people there. We had like anchor people. So, you know, with great sponsors comes great giveaways. And we were able to have a fantastic raffle. We had a GoPro that was donated by Periscope to it was amazing.
Wow.
And we had a panel where you could get to meet some of the top periscopers.
Mhm.
And it's so different than being at Summit Live where it's kind of large, it's huge. But when
Mhm.
you have a small intimate event where you could actually go up and talk to your favorite periscoper and get to know them, and it's so amazing. It's an experience that you can't pay for, and that was free too. You know what I mean? It was awesome, and it's all about the experience. It really is.
That's I really like that you, even though you kind of had those separate events, separate location. I mean, would you say it was across the street? I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, that people actually went to the live event, but they were able to connect, in person. And again, you're fulfilling that mission of really trying to bring people together in a supportive and a secure place. And I love that, and you guys are doing it. So that's what you guys are doing next. You guys want to plan a big meetup, a in-person meetup. Wow.
Yeah,
Man,
huge.
that's a big deal. Like
It
that's a
is.
big move. You guys can do it.
We can.
I have there's not even an inkling of a doubt. It's more of a question, not if, it's when. So when do you guys want to do it, right? But so Joanne, I do want to give you just a chance. If you would you just kind of just tell everybody like a little, just real quick, if this is your promo, right? This is your chance. Tell us where would you like people to connect with you, and where would you like people to go, and what's that thing for them?
Oh, okay. So really, really simple, you guys. It's at Go Rice Girl everywhere and anywhere that there's some kind of social component. I am there. But I really want to just let you guys know that if you love live streaming, if you love Periscope, and you're a female, make sure you just go to perigirls.com and join us. We are there for you. There's no like secret handshake needed. There's no coupon code needed. We want you. We want you to be in our community, and we want you to just to have a place to connect and to talk Periscope. That's it.
Awesome. I love it. And I'm going to be using that, right? That was the whole purpose of that. Because I wanted to make sure I wanted to hear what you say, because I can say, but I want to hear it from your mouth. And I love the way you talk about it. So Joanne, thank you so much for being a part of today's Twitter chat, and live stream. Is really an experience. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of people that are involved and that are showed up for today. And I really want to say thank you to the PeriGirl community for being a big supporter of this. I mean, we do this every week. We do, this is a live stream Twitter chat about live streaming, and that includes the communities, and we do tech shows, we do guest shows. We do a lot of those different things because we're trying to serve the live streaming community in a more general sense. And the Twitter chat was just a really great way to be able to do it, and connecting live stream. And so now, we've, as we bring this together, I do want to encourage you guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like, either it's a Bitmug page where we're broadcasting from. You can go over to LetsLivestream.com. That's another great way, and that's just a great. That's a way you can sign up for our email list. You're going to get notifications of the next shows and things like that are coming out. And you can also join over in Live Talk Nation. That is our Facebook group. That's the kind of community home that we have, and that's really run and supported by the community there. And so we love it, and maybe one day we'll be just like the Perry Girls. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Maybe it's not. But no. But in all seriousness, guys, thank you everybody that joined us. Please make sure that you do like and subscribe to the page. We will be back here next Wednesday with the next episode, the next installment for Let's Livestream. And with that, I'm going to say thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.